Hello everyone, my name is Henry Onyebuchi and you're welcome to the channel. This is Inside the App. Here we try to help you master Web3 and blockchain. So if you're interested in these topics, do well to subscribe to the channel and please like the video. So today I'm going to be teaching about modifiers in Solidity. Now, how do modifiers work? So I'm just going to make two functions and give you a little illustration. So in this function, I simply want to return a number. So I'm going to return 6, just a random number. I can restrict this to pure because I'm not using any state variable. And then I'm going to create a second function. So let me just copy paste this initial function that I've created. And then I can name this func2. And let me have it return a different value, just so it's a little bit different from the previous. So as you can see, we have two functions. So let us try to restrict this function to one wallet address. So first of all, I'm going to define an address variable and make this public. And I could just give this a default value. So I'm just going to go over to the addresses provided to me by Remix. So over here, you can see the address is selected by Remix. So I'm just going to select the first one and I'm going to make that our owner over here. And let's say I want to give access of this func1 and func2 functions to the owner strictly. So I can make a require statement over here and require that message.sender. So in Solidity, a message.sender represents the one who is making a transaction or who is calling a particular function. So in this case, the message.sender is supposed to be the entity trying to access func1. So I'm going to require that message.sender is equal to the owner. Otherwise, I throw an error. The string not owner. And since I'm now accessing the owner variable, I'm going to have to change this to view. Okay, so that function is good now. And let's assume I wanted to give the same access to func2. So I'm trying to restrict func2 only to the owner, this owner address. So I can easily put the same thing here and change this to view. And you see the error clears away. So now we have two functions that both allow only the owner to check what the return values are. So as you can see, we've repeated this line of code twice in line 10 and line 15. So what if we wanted to make our code more optimized? Let's see how we can do this. So this introduces us to modifiers in Solidity. So I'm just going to name a modifier and I can assign any name to it. So I'm just going to say only owner. And then it follows with a bracket. I can just copy what I've written over here, paste it in there, and then include this sign so that the code can run after the modifier logic. So I can also delete what I've written here and just write in between the name of the modifier that we want to use, which in this case is only owner. I can do the same thing here as well. And I can remove this require statement inside the function. So as you can see, both functions now use the only owner modifier. What it now means is when this function is run, the code logic inside the modifier of only owner first runs, and if everything goes successful, it jumps back to the func1 function and then returns the value that it's supposed to return. And the same thing happens for func2. So the code in the modifier runs first before the function logic runs. So a modifier is used to create code logic that is expected to run before the logic of the function using the modifier. So a modifier can also have parameters. So for instance, let us give the parameter to this modifier only owner. So I can just create an address parameter and call that owner. course, I'm going to make it different from this one so that it does not shadow it, the state variable. And then in this case, here where we're passing the modifier, I need to pass in the value. And in our case, the value is going to be message sender, which is available for us here. And I can also repeat the same thing. So as you can see, the contract compiles. So this means that you'll be able to declare a modifier and also pass in input parameters should you want. But you need to note this, that when you're declaring a modifier, you need to make sure that the input parameter you'll be passing to it should be available before you get into the function logic. So it can be variables that you pass into the function as parameter, and it can also be constant variables that are available in Solidity. So I'm just going to go ahead and deploy this smart contract so that we can really see how the modifier is working. Over here, I'm going to click on deploy just to double check. The owner wallet is still here. We still have access to the owner wallet. So I'm just going to deploy the contract. As you can see, the contract deploys. We're going to expand the modifier for contract, and we have func1, func2, and owner. So owner is public here, which is why we're seeing it. Just to verify, I can click on it and you see that the owner is the same value that we have defined. So let's say I wanted to call func1 with a different wallet. So I'm just going to unselect the initial wallet and go to the second wallet that Remix provides. So when I click on func1, I expect to see an error, no owner. So that didn't work. If I try to do the same thing on func2, I also see the same error, not owner. So it means that I'm trying to call these functions using an address other than the message sender, and of course we expect the message sender to be the owner. So let's switch back to the message sender and see how these functions react. So I try to call func1 this time around since I've switched to the owner wallet, and then from the owner wallet it returns the value that we expect, which is 6, and then for func2 it returns the value we expect, which is 10. So as you can see, modifiers help you shorten your code, and it helps you make your smart contract more optimized in the way that you'll be able to define certain logic and use them across multiple functions within your smart contract. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please do well to leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more. I'll catch you some other time. Bye.